Welcome. I'm Julie Geigel, International Psychic Medium, and you are watching Julie's Talk Show. And this is Mindful Mondays with the Online Spiritual Book Club. This is week 4 of Angels in My Hair by Lorna Byrne. Today we are talking about Chapter 15, The Power of Prayer, Chapter 16, The Tunnel, Chapter 17, Three Knocks on the Window, and Chapter 18, Isn't Lorna Lucky? So let's jump right in. So with Chapter 15, Power of Prayer, I love prayer. I'm a huge prayer freak, whatever you want to say. She explains that her parents became involved in a prayer group that had a great effect on her dad. And after that happened, he went out of his way to help people. And she always loved church, so whenever she could get to Mass, she definitely could. And she says on page 156 that power is extremely prayer is extremely powerful. She shares with us, when we pray, we don't pray alone. Our guardian angel always prays with us, and so do any other angels who may be with us at the time. Even loved ones who are already in heaven join us when we pray. Oh, I love that. I recently lost my mother-in-law to a horrible disease in January, and my father's been gone for about 18 years, so that was just so comforting to read that. All right, moving on to Chapter 16, The Tunnel. She had a baby, and the angels told her that she was going to miscarry. And so the moment came where she was going to miscarry the baby, and she actually felt herself lift up with the baby and go into heaven. And the angels are like, you have to go back, you have to go back. And Lorna's like, no, I want to stay. This is awesome. And so they made her go back, of course, which was destiny. She was not meant to die. And then in Chapter 17, Three Knocks on the Window, I thought this was so amazing. You know, Jo was so distraught about the death of the baby and all that incurred. And she was told by the angels that something special was going to happen. And so they had a big snowstorm, and Jo heard three knocks at the window, and she heard it too. And the angels instantly told her that, you know, the baby was going to come and say goodbye. And then they heard three knocks on the door, and she smiled, and she was all calm, and Jo's like, what's going on? And then she said, it's the baby. He's come to say goodbye and tell us that he is going to heaven, and it's okay for you, Jo, to let him go. And Jo cried, and he believed her that that's what really was going on. And this was kind of, a little bit scary. On page 187, she tells us about how she could always feel somebody watching her. And one day she summoned Angel Elijah and asked him what that was all about. And he told her it was Satan, and not to be afraid, that one day God is going to test you by putting you in the presence of Satan. So that's kind of fascinating. And then in Chapter 18, Isn't Lorna Lucky? I thought this was kind of sad. You know, her and Jo lived quite in poverty, and she had been blessed with her third pregnancy. Another baby was coming, and she was sharing this with her parents and her grandparents, and her grandparents said, you know, isn't Lorna lucky that the first two children weren't retarded? But I'm sure that this one will be. And, you know, she was standing like just a few feet away from them. Obviously, she could hear them, and she was just totally crushed by that. Totally crushed. And so then on page 190, she tells us that she gets her first vision at a prayer group. And, you know, they go into prayer, close their eyes, and she was allowed to step inside a vision of a young man. And then afterwards, the pastor or priest asked if anybody had gotten anything on anybody else. And she was nervous, but she did share that, and it was amazing. All right, we're out of time. Thank you so much. That was my summary of chapters 15 through 18. I would love to hear from you. I love the chapter on the power of prayer. Is prayer important in your life? Have you ever heard knocking around or strange noises in your house, like lights going on and off or the TV? Keep the conversation going and help us build community by connecting with us and sharing your thoughts in our comment section below. We will be giving away a free psychic reading at the end of the 6 weeks, and every time that you post a comment in the comment section, your name will be entered in our private members only blog post. Your name will go into that drawing. And if you are not receiving our inspirational email messages to stay connected, be sure to jump on over to heavensenthealing.us and sign up for our free Manifesting Miracles download, and you'll get information I only share through email updates. So remember, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you'll keep on being who you've always been. Change doesn't happen unless you make a change. Thank you so much for liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter.